last part's not true, but he always insists that I say something like that. So, our former and current Commonwealth Attorney, Randy Single. Someone that Kerry and I both had both the honor and the pleasure of serving with on City Council, my friend Lonnie Rich. And soon to be someone who will be greeted as a new member of City Council, Willie Bailey. Someone who always says, thank goodness he's paid a lot for this job because the aggravation wouldn't be worth it, the chairman of the ADC, Clarence Tong. Today begins an 86-day countdown to saving Western civilization as we know it. That's probably not quite the case. I've maybe overstated, but there's a tendency to always talk about elections as being the most important, and all elections are important, but this really is an important election. There are some challenges that are facing the city that I think are of great concern to everyone. Our ability to be able to solve problems, meet needs, fill voids, is not something that happens by wishing for. It happens by vision and leadership. It happens by balancing the needs of the city with the needs of taxpayers. And the things that you can look back on at Kerry's record are things that also did not happen by accident. When you look at every school in the city either being completely renovated or brand new, when you look at new rec centers, when you look at probably the true greatest home run in economic development the city has had in the past 50 years and may for the next 50, Patent and Trademark Office. I'll tell you, and I am not overstating this, if it were not for Kerry Donley, there would not be a PTO in Alexandria. And that has been an enormous benefit to taxpayers who see the ability to have relief from the pressure on residential tax. If it were not for Kerry, I think, creating the framework for competing for a National Science Foundation, I'm not sure we would see that happening, or the Wilson Bridge or affordable housing. These things don't happen by accident. They happen with vision and they happen with leadership. And getting Kerry reelected to the City Council is not going to happen by accident either. Now look, we're all part of the family here. We're all part of the Democratic family. We understand it's a challenge, and we know that we're all being asked to pick among our friends. And that's always tough, but I was thinking as I was driving over here today, it's sort of like, if a couple that are your friends get divorced, you don't have to pick one or the other to like or not like. You're going to have to decide which one gets invited to your Thanksgiving dinner. But they don't stop becoming your friends. But you have to make some choices. In this case, I think the choices are so critical to the city's future. Three-way races are a little tricky. It's time, I think, for everyone in this room. There have been about 150 people that have been here today. And it's within our power to ensure that the outcome is what we want. And that's to have Kerry Donley be back in the important role that he has been in serving this city and leading this city and creating a vision for this city. So it's my great pleasure to introduce my best friend, colleague, and next mayor of Alexandria, Kerry Donley.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, and I want to thank David for that wonderful introduction. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you for coming and supporting us today. Now, listen, I've got some prepared remarks. Half of them are just introducing my family, as you know. As you know, we traveled by caravan, and first off, I want to introduce my wife Eva, who, for many years. For many years, she has supported my political career here in the city of Alexandria, and it's great to have a partner like Eva, and she had the final say on whether we were going to do this again, and she said, go for it, buddy. And so we did. I also want to introduce my 5 daughters who are with me today. Yes, that's right, there are 5 of them. Where is she? Kristen. Where's Kristen? Kerry Donley is my oldest daughter. Kristen. Then we have Caitlin. Caitlin over here. Colleen. Where's Colleen's over here holding a nephew. My daughter Kara. Where's Kara? There she is right here. There she is. And let me introduce Kelsey. Kelsey's not going to stand because Kelsey ran the rock and roll marathon yesterday in the rain. In the rain, so she's not standing today. And I also want to introduce my mother and father-in-law, Don and Grace Shamblin, here as well. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Now, one of the things that is new about the Donley clan are 3 grandchildren. And many of you have over the last 5 years followed the saga of my grandson, Jack. And Jack's here, and here's my buddy. Jack is truly a superhero, and Jack, we welcome you. Now, there's also Mason, my little buddy over here. Mason, wave to everybody. And now, as you notice, I have 5 daughters. These are the only males, and so I'm not sure how to handle them. But we also have our granddaughter Jillian. Caitlin's holding Jillian. Wave your hand, Jilly. I don't think he could be here today, but I know his wife is here. Suzanne LeBoy is here, and Suzanne's in the back, and Suzanne is Suzanne's the wife of Peter LeBoy, and Peter and Suzanne are our neighbors. Peter is a true Alexandria hero, and we couldn't thank you more than ever for Peter and everything he does. But it's great to have you as our neighbor, and it's great to have you as a supporter, and Peter as well. Thank you, Suzanne, for coming. I appreciate it. Now, there's also a lot of folks who are helping us with the campaign. I'm not going to go through their names because, again, it would probably take another 10 or 15 minutes. But I want to thank my campaign team for putting this event together and working so hard, at least thus far in the campaign. But I also want to thank the folks here at Tempo Restaurant. We had this here in the West End because I'm a West End resident, and we think the West End needs a little bit more attention. But this is a great restaurant. This is a great restaurant. They serve great food, and this is an adaptive reuse. Many of you may remember this used to be a gas station, and now it's a great restaurant. We want to thank Wendy and Serge Albert for hosting us today. Let's give Tempo another round of applause. Now, I don't know if she was introduced, but I also want to introduce Councilwoman Del Pepper, who has joined us as well. Thank you, Del. Again, Del's seeking re-election for what is this, the 20th time or something like that? Who's counting? That's right. But I want to thank you for coming and supporting my campaign. You know, this campaign and I think the election for mayor is really, it's about a vision for Alexandria's future, and it's where we want our city to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And leadership is more than just showing up, and it's certainly not being on the losing end of 6-to-1 votes. But leadership is about setting goals, charting a path on how to achieve them. Then you roll up your sleeves and you work to get the job done. And I want to share with you some thoughts about what my goals are for Alexandria over the next decade. You know, we should really enhance our support of the Alexandria City Public Schools to make sure that we have good academic performance, but also that our facilities are meeting the needs of our students. You know, I am a satisfied consumer of the Alexandria City Public Schools. My 5 daughters are all products of the Alexandria City Public Schools. Two are teachers. One's a lawyer. One is a physical therapist in the public schools, and Kelsey's about ready to graduate with a degree in accounting. But what I want is the same kind of academic performance and the same kind of success from the future students of the City of Alexandria Public Schools. And that's what part of my goal is, to make sure that they have the funding and make sure they have the facilities that they need. We need to ensure that our city's workforce is the best and the brightest, and that they are fairly compensated. You know, the public employees in Alexandria, they work hard every day to deliver the kinds of services that make our city great, and we need to have the best and the brightest here in Alexandria, and I want to work to make that a goal and make that a reality. We need to practice smart growth development. You know, we need to have our development where it's appropriately planned and where it could be supported by transit. No more BRAC debacles. We can't afford it anymore to have facilities like the BRAC that yield nothing in the way of real estate taxes, and in fact have caused the state and the federal government to spend $100 million in transportation improvements that, quite frankly, never should have been there to begin with. You know, David mentioned the Patent and Trademark Office, which you know, and I'm proud of the fact that I was a driving force behind bringing the Patent and Trademark Office here to Alexandria. It's supported by 2 metro stations near the confluence of major routes of transportation and modes of transportation. That's the kind of development we need in Alexandria, and that's the kind that I hope to bring as the next mayor of Alexandria. The National Science Foundation, again, another big win. You know, David and I worked when we were on the council to craft the package that brought the patent, or the National Science Foundation here. In fact, the City Council actually invited us to their executive session to talk about it and to make sure that we gave them our advice on the National Science Foundation and how important it is to the City of Alexandria. One of the other things we need to do is we need to balance the tax burdens and shift away the disproportionate tax share that our residential communities paying in our taxes. Today, over 75% of the real estate taxes come from residential uses. It's a far cry from the 50-50 goal that was established by Bill Ewell. We have to continue, you know, to invest in early childhood education and preschool initiatives. You know, I was at an event not long ago at Patrick Henry, where they talked about, you know, the importance that early childhood development had in the lives of kids when they got to kindergarten, and the success that they're achieving, so that they're on grade level by the time they're in preschool or in kindergarten and in first grade. That's the kind of investment in Alexandria's future that we need to continue. We must continue to invest in sidewalk and street infrastructure. You know, quite frankly, I've never met a pothole that gets cheaper because you didn't fill it. And that is a primary goal. It's a primary goal of local government, and we need to continue it. We must have a vibrant waterfront that's enjoyed by all Alexandrians and can be a true asset to our community. I'm proud to support the waterfront plan when I was on council before, and I want to work to make that a reality. We need to continue our search for creative solutions to affordable housing, using all tools at our disposal. You know, I was proud with my work with ARHA when we did our first redevelopment of public housing in Alexandria. I'm also proud to have supported the redevelopment plan at Beauregard that preserved 850 affordable housing.